In this video, I'm going to give you a full Amazon FBA product research checklist for beginners. I'm going to show you what a winning product looks like, break down all the numbers, as well as a bunch of red flags you need to avoid in your own product research. And if you're new to our channel, welcome. We're SellerAmp. We're an online retail and wholesale arbitrage product research tool for Amazon sellers. And it's our goal to help you find as many winning products as possible. Let's get right into the full breakdown. All right, starting off here inside my screen, this is where you're going to be doing online arbitrage specifically, as well as these characteristics transfer to all different types of arbitrage, online, retail, and wholesale specifically. Right off the bat here, we can see this is the buy box on this product, $26.41. So that's what SellerAmp is going to show on the profit calculator right here. Immediately, we need to make sure that a listing sells quick. That's our first part of the checklist, is making sure that this listing actually sells, which comes from taking a look at the best sellers rank right here of about 36,000. We can also see that this listing sells really well because it has a bunch of reviews, over 4,000 specifically right here. So the lower the sales rank, the better. And the first thing you need to do with the potential product you want to take a look at to sell on Amazon is make sure that the sales rank is good, which primarily is going to mean below 150,000 if you're a complete beginner. We can see this product's currently going on Amazon for $26.41. And if we plug it in on Google with SellerAmp, just hitting the Google button right here, we can actually see that the Puma website is selling it for only $9.80 specifically. So if we go ahead and plug that in on SellerAmp right here, $9.80, we can see that leaves about $6 profit per sale and about a 65% ROI. And I get asked all the time, what's your minimum profit per unit? What's your minimum ROI? How does max cost work on SellerAmp? And basically, to break those down, as a complete beginner, you typically want to stay above $3 profit per unit and above a 35% ROI, right? So we can see this nicely comes up green, and this nicely comes up green for ROI as well. You can set that criteria in your settings on SellerAmp, and it's really important to note, guys, that this takes into account shipping, fees, product costs, literally everything. The max cost on SellerAmp is really helpful because if we plug in max cost, we can see that hits our nice minimum ROI criteria. However, if we plug that in, we can see it's even better in this case. So a really, really important thing is making sure that the listing sells quick via the BSR and that it hits your minimum profit per unit and your minimum ROI criteria. Now, even further, to validate each specific product, we obviously need to make sure we're ungated or can get ungated using the purchase. We have a full ungating tutorial on the channel that'll help out with that specifically. And now what we need to do is scroll down here and take a look at the chart and make sure that this listing has been profitable over time. So we can see, taking a look historically, looks like recently the buy box price right there is about 27, is even 28 earlier this week specifically, and has been around 30 in early May and as high as like 33 in April specifically. So we know that this product's actually been profitable over time. And what we can also do, guys, is take a look at down here at the offer count on the chart and see that the offer count's nicely going up and down here. Although it is a little bit up compared to, early May and such, we can see, we know this listing's still selling considering the price is nice and stable. So the big product research criteria you need to be using is a good sales rank, $3 plus profit per unit, your ROI criteria, making sure that the Keepa chart's been profitable over time as well. And a really, really underrated metric for taking a look at velocity is going to be offer count movement on this bottom Keepa chart specifically right here, and making sure that it's going up and down to make sure that this listing actually sells. Another major pro tip, guys, is for listings like this that are really, really light. We can see 0.64 ounces. I bet this probably weighs a little bit more than that, but this is the data Amazon's reporting for it, that are above 25 bucks. They tend to be a little bit better to merchant fulfilled compared to FBA. So if we go down here on SellerAmp and filter over to FBM, this is probably going to ship for about $5 merchant fulfilled. So we can see FBA, it's about $6.40 profit per sale and a 65% ROI. But FBM, it's about $7.60 profit per sale and a 78% ROI. So it's really important to note that some listings can actually be better to merchant fulfill compared to FBA, especially when they're above 25 bucks but below £1. So we saw what a good product looks like, all the basic criteria. Now it's really, really important that we're going to take a look at some of the red flags you need to avoid to make sure that you're not buying the wrong products. Because obviously the basic criteria fits right there, but there's certain red flags you need to avoid as well. Let's take a look at them. So the first one is going to be IP complaint history. IP complaint stands for intellectual property complaint. Basically, The benefit of arbitrage is we're selling products we didn't create. There's existing demand for them. People already know, like, and trust Nike, Adidas, Lego, Puma, etc. However, certain brand owners from time to time will kick people off the listings, and it's important that you avoid products that show history of that. So all we're going to do to find that is go ahead and scroll down here on SellerAmp and take a look at the chart right here and look for any cliffs. We can see the past couple months, the offer count's been nicely flowing up and down right here, and we can see the price is nice and steady as well. However, we can isolate right here, April 8th, the offer count was 26, and then we can see it dropped all the way down to 0 right here, 1 and 0 right there, basically. So that is an example of a massive cliff where everyone or almost everyone got kicked off a listing that we can realistically assume is an intellectual property complaint, and that's definitely something we want to avoid. So big red flag is making sure you're avoiding stuff that has that offer count dropping off, IP complaint history. This next one's super important. It's the one a lot of beginners sleep on, and that's going to be slow selling variations. If we take a look at these red Nike sneakers here, we can see they're an 11K rank and there's 1,600 estimated sales per month. However, that's across all the variations. If we go ahead and take a look to see how quick a specific variation sells, we need to take a look at the chart for that specific product. If we scroll down here on SellerAmp, we can see this specific chart is very blocky, where there's not really any pricing change, there's not really any offer count movement, people aren't really selling out. However, if we take a look at this specific variation for the same item, a more common color, we can see it has the exact same BSR and estimated sales metrics because it's the same listing. However, the Keepa chart for this specific product is going to be unique. We can see in this case, there's a lot more price action changes and the offer count's nicely going up and down. So we know that this specific variation sells, and it sells a lot quicker. I get the question all the time, how do you tell which specific variations sell best? And it's typically common sense around color and size. It makes sense that, white and midnight navy would sell better than, gray and red specifically right here. And then anecdotal data based on the specific Keepa chart. We can see this is a size 6 men's, and then this one is a size 13 men's. Makes sense that the size 13 men's is more common. And we back that up with anecdotal data, taking a look at the specific Keepa chart right here. So make sure you avoid slow selling variations and you measure the velocity of a variation based on the specific chart. Next red flag you want to avoid is competition shooting up and price going down. That's really important because the last thing you want is to buy a listing when the offer count's going up, the competition's going up, and the price subsequently goes down. I get asked all the time, how much competition is too much competition on a listing? And it's all about the trend. It doesn't matter if a listing had 50 sellers 3 months ago, if it has 55 today, the price is probably pretty stable. But if a listing has 20 sellers today and it had 10 sellers a week ago, the price is probably headed down, which we can see in this case. That's what happened on this listing, where there were at the start of end of May, start of June, there were 3-4 sellers. Now it's all the way up at 16 here, and we can see the price went from 38 all the way down to 25 right here in about a week. So it makes sense that the pricing went down when the offer count went up, aka the competition. So it's not necessarily that something has too much competition. It's just when the competition's shooting up, it's probably going to drive the price down. If the competition's stable, the price is probably going to be stable, and the Keepa chart's going to show you that. The last main red flag you're going to want to avoid is when Amazon's dominating a listing. A big mistake a lot of beginners make is automatically avoiding listings if Amazon's on them. That shouldn't be the case. It's kind of weird, but Amazon shares the buy box on some listings and doesn't share the buy box on other listings. Here's an example of a listing where Amazon doesn't share the buy box enough. So if we go ahead and scroll down to the chart right here, we can see Amazon's on this thing, right? But if we take a look here, we can see there's not really much offer count movement. It's pretty blocky, and we can see Amazon's holding the buy box basically the entire time. We can see Amazon 18, buy box 18 right here. And what we can also do is use the new buy box analysis feature on SellerAmp down here, and we can see that Amazon's getting about 94% of the buy box share here. And if we take a look at the last 90 days and last 180 days, Amazon's buy box share is only going up. So if you're taking a look at a Keepa chart on a listing Amazon's on, don't automatically avoid it. Make sure they're sharing buy box enough. There's really no cut and dry rule in terms of the amount of buy box they're sharing. It all kind of correlates to price action and offer count action. And that if you can see, if a listing's price is nicely hopping around, you're seeing people that aren't Amazon in the buy box all the time here on the chart. and you can see the offer counts nicely moving up and down, flowing nicely, similar to a listing where Amazon isn't on. That's going to tend to be a listing where Amazon is sharing the buy box enough, and you're going to learn over time and build out your own muscle and criteria testing. This is just our opinion in terms of helping lots of arbitrage sellers get where they want to be specifically, and that's the basic product research criteria of making sure stable or decreasing offer count, stable or increasing price, $3 plus profit per unit, 35% plus ROI, and then making sure these sales rank and specific Keepa chart look good for that variation too, and avoiding IP complaints and other potential red flags that'll go off from time to time. That's everything you need to know about product research. In terms of getting going with stuff, storefront stalking is going to be the best method for beginners. Hope this video was helpful, guys. If you have any questions, let us know down below. We love helping you guys grow your businesses. You can get a free trial on our website, SellerAmp.com, and we'll see you guys in the next one.